Up until now, I've just been using this Coleman Sundome 2-person tent, and this has actually been working out pretty good. But I wanted to step things up a notch and get just a little bit better quality tent. Something that would fit in my backpack a little easier than this, and maybe be just a little bit lighter as well. So I ended up choosing the Nemo Aurora. On the inside of the stuff sack, there is a label with the instructions on how to set this up in case you forget. And there's also a little handy chart to show you the major constellations. Kind of a neat little touch. We've got the rain fly. We've got the tent body itself here. We've got a separate sack with the aluminum tent poles inside. Over here, we've actually got the included footprint that goes underneath the tent. And in this bag, we've got a set of aluminum stakes and some extra cord. And in the bag with the tent stakes, I also found a little patch kit here. Also included in this kit is a short piece of hollow aluminum tubing. And this is to be used if one of your tent poles or maybe one of your tent stakes is bent. You can use this to help unbend it. So I think the first thing I'll do to set the tent up is lay out the footprint approximately where I'm going to place the tent. So when I lay this out, I'm going to make sure that the side with the tag on it that has the Nemo logo is facing up toward the bottom of the tent. Next, I'll get the tent body itself laid out roughly over top of the footprint. The next thing that I'll do is grab the tent frame and kind of expand it and put it all together. These poles are all held together with shock cord in the middle, so it'll tend to kind of want to assemble itself in the right orientation. We just need to make sure everything is locked together. Now, one other thing to note about the tent frame and the aluminum poles is that some of them are pre-bent, as you can probably see, to help kind of maximize the space inside this tent. Now that I've got the frame assembled, I can insert the ends of the poles into these tabs at the corners of the tent. Now there's one tab on the tent body itself and one on the footprint that need to go over the end of the pole. Now that I've got the first two at the far end installed, I'm going to kind of walk this up and push it in place and then get these other two installed. So as I get the last corner in place, there will be a little bit of tension on the frame that'll kind of help keep everything together and sort of standing up straight. Now that the frame is in place, I can grab these clips that are on the tent body and start attaching them to the tent poles. Next, I'll grab the ridge pole and get that assembled. Just like the other poles, there's shock cord in the middle, so it'll just kind of go together on its own. And one thing to mention is that this is sort of pre-bent, so when you get this assembled, you want to make sure it forms sort of a smooth arc facing down. Now I'll grab the ridge pole and place it above the main skeleton pole. Now I'll grab this tab on the tent body and lock it into the end of the pole. Now I'll come around to the other side of the tent and do the same thing. Lock this tab into the end of the pole. And then I'll grab these clips and clip them to the ridge pole. Now that the tent body is set up, I'll grab the stakes and put one at each of the four corners. I'm just setting this up temporarily, so I'm not going to pound this into the ground, but you could tap that in with a mallet or something. But you want to be careful because this is just aluminum and it could bend pretty easily. So as I stake out the corners, I'll make sure that I put some tension on the tent so that everything is nice and tight and the rainwater bounces off. Now I'll grab the rain fly and throw this over the tent, making sure that the door openings line up on either side, and that the Nemo logo is the side facing out. Now I'll grab the straps that are at the corner of the rain fly and lock the metal tab underneath each of the corner poles. There's also a grommet underneath the rain fly, so I'm going to open up the zipper on the vestibule and find that so I can lock it into the ends on the ridge poles. Next, I can tension the rain fly by using these adjustable straps here and just getting it so that the tension is where I want it. Next, I'll grab some more stakes and stake out the vestibule. Now, the way this works is that one side is staked and fixed in place, and then the other side will just kind of zip down and close it up. Once this is staked out, I can pull on the free end of the string and kind of tighten it down as needed. And then to close it up fully, I just zip it down. Once it's zipped closed, you can see there's sort of a rain flap here with some Velcro to kind of keep that zipper protected so the rainwater won't get in. And of course, I'll grab the strap on the backside and stake out this vestibule as well. And again, I can use this to adjust the tension as needed. Now I can choose to keep the vestibule zipped like it was, or I can leave sort of the half side open and roll this side up and keep it out of the way with this little dog bone strap that's on the inside of the tent. Now there's also vent openings on either side of the rain fly. You can leave it closed and Velcroed shut if you want, or you can open it up, grab the stiffener, lock it to the Velcro on the top, kind of fold it over, and now you've got a vent that shouldn't get any rainwater in it, unless maybe you've got a gale force wind blowing underneath. So if we take a close look at the workmanship on the tent, it all looks pretty good, as you would expect for a tent at this price point. All the seams are double stitched, everything is straight. I don't see any missing stitches as I look around, and the materials all feel pretty good. The rainfly material is 68D PU polyester, 1200 millimeter. The floor fabric is also the same material, the 68D polyester. Now the canopy of the tent is made from 30D polyester and no-seam mesh, and all of the tent poles are 8.5 millimeter diameter aluminum. Now material of all the straps and cordage seems like it's pretty good. Now one thing I'm not sure about, I didn't see it in any of the product documentation, is whether or not any of the materials in the cords or straps or even the tent materials itself are UV resistant in any way. Now normally when I'm camping, I'm usually in the woods and in the shade, so that's not an issue. But if you're camping out in the field and leaving the tent set up for a long period of time, UV exposure may be a concern, and you may want to research that before you purchase this. Now one thing I saw in the online reviews that people complained about is the fact that this tent has just a single zipper pull. Now that's not something that really bothers me too much. In fact, sometimes the double zipper pulls kind of get in the way and I lose where they are. So this is almost a little bit easier. But if you're a fan of the double zipper, just know that this tent doesn't have them. So if we look inside the tent, one thing that you'll notice is that it has sort of a bathtub design, meaning there's no seam right here at the corner where the floor meets the sidewall. The same material kind of goes up a little bit here, and that should help with water intrusion at the ground. But having said that, there are seams in the middle of the floor and kind of going up the side here, but they are double stitched and seam sealed, so they shouldn't leak, especially with that footprint underneath. That should keep everything protected. Now, if we look at the corners, you can see that we have a seam here as well, but we have sort of double material here. It's all reinforced and seam sealed. Another thing you'll notice is that there is a snap in the corner, and this is for an optional interior footprint that you can put inside the tent, which is useful if you've got pets in here so that their claws aren't kind of piercing the bottom of the tent. And I'll leave a link to that in the description below in case you're interested in that accessory. Now, of course, over here there is sort of a pocket for your stuff, keys, wallet, pocket knife, whatever that you can put here. And there is another one at the opposite side of the tent as well. Now, one thing I like about the design of the doors here is that there is sort of privacy material here, so you can keep the vestibule open or maybe even have the rain fly off, but still have a little bit of privacy here down low while you're sleeping so that people can't see in. Now, if we look at the mid and top section of the door, this is all that real fine mesh screen to keep those little tiny bugs out, and this stuff is colored white. Now, if we move higher up the tent, it's a little hard to see because the rain fly is on, but this screen that's up here is all green, but is the same kind of weave and mesh as the side windows on the doors. And if we take a look at the top of the tent, you can see there's a couple of loops here if you want to hang something. And way up here at the top, there is a white light pocket. So you should be able to put a flashlight or maybe a headlamp in here and use this as sort of a dome light in the tent. But the white material will diffuse the light so that it's not harsh, shining down into your eyes. And then up here at either end of the tent, there is sort of another mesh pocket for some extra gear that you can keep up here and overhead and out of the way. And like I mentioned before, this tent has doors on both sides. So if you've got two people, each person can kind of get in and out on either side and not disturb the other one. Or if you're using this tent solo like I am, you can keep all your gear sort of back here under the back vestibule and out of the tent so it's not in your way. Now, one of the things I really like about this tent is its overall shape. It's got near vertical sidewalls, so even if I'm back here towards the side, I can still sit up comfortably. That way, if I'm trapped in here on a rainy day or rainy night, I don't have to be laying down or stuck sitting in the middle of the tent like I would be on my old Sundome. So there's a few things in here that I don't like or find somewhat suspect. And the first of those is that since this is a brand new tent, there's a ton of little strings and things, kind of little cut pieces of material in here. That's not really a problem. It's just strange. I've never seen that with another tent that I've owned. Another thing I'm not crazy about is the fact that this screen door doesn't have a way to kind of roll it up and keep it inside. You've got to stuff it in this side pocket. And if you've already got stuff in here, that might be kind of a problem if you want to access that stuff when the door is stuffed in there. And even though green is my favorite color, I'm not a fan of the shades of green used on this tent. It's not bad, it's fine. I'm out camping, it kind of blends in maybe with the environment. Now, I know there was a whole nother color that you could choose from if you didn't like the green, but I liked that color scheme even less. So I would have preferred different colors to choose from, I guess. But, you know, again, that's kind of a minor nitpick. As long as the tent keeps me dry and lasts a long time, that's really what I care about the most. Okay, now I'll tear it down and pack it up. So that's it for the Nemo Aurora tent. If you're interested in learning more, check the links in the video description below. Thanks for watching.